nerds. This is Gaming with Alston. And today, we're on episode 90 of the Utopian Community series. What's going on? Much better. Things are so much better now. I'm focusing on. I've been doing a bit of my essay before the video started. That's okay. But before that, and also, one of the factors that affects our likelihood of eradicating diseases is how much research we're going into. It takes a lot of research to understand how proteins fold, which is why we're nowhere near a cure for CJD. Because we don't know how the proteins misfold in the first place. No one really knows how the proteins fold like that. No one really knows how the proteins misfolded. Until we do a bit more research. The problem with trying to understand it is the method requires taking out the brain, which is something you cannot do on a living person. So we have to grow brain cells in a lab, which is something we've yet to do. Before we do genetic engineering, we have to do genome sequencing. The problem with forcing your kids on a vegan diet is they have a higher protein requirement compared to an adult. There is something called bioavailability of nutrients you gotta take into account. The problem is, in America, is we are consuming too much protein. It'd only be justifiable if we had a higher protein requirement. The problem with our meat consumption is we're taking it too far. But you know, there are some factors of meat consumption the human has no control over. The amount of cats they own plays a role, because cats are obligate carnivores. Because it is justifiable that those who own a lot of cats have a higher meat consumption per household. That is because cats are obligate carnivores. Not omnivore leaning towards herbivore like we are. What is wrong with trying to force your child on a vegan diet? It's not just that your child doesn't want to go vegan. There are cases of vegan children dying from their vegan diet that their parents imposed on them. Parents who are vegan, you gotta be careful. If you're gonna put your child on a vegan diet, you may want to be very careful if you're gonna think about doing that. So, the likelihood of your child dying is minimized. If you want to reduce your likelihood of your child dying from a vegan diet, you gotta be careful about what you should feed your child. You gotta be careful. Because there is a risk involved with putting your child on a vegan diet. But cats, on the other hand, have to have meat in their diet, whether they want to or not. Because they cannot digest vegetable protein pretty well. They can't. If I had a cat, the best thing I'd feed them would be raw meat. Sometimes I'd ferment it. And sometimes I'd make high meats for the cat. With McDonald's food, flies don't even see it as food at all. Neither should we. Because putting your child on a vegan diet, it can potentially, no, not certainly, but potentially kill your child. Why I say potential? Because you gotta be, if you want your child to survive to adulthood entirely vegan, you gotta be very careful. You gotta have the diet carefully planned out for your child. You gotta plan it out very carefully. Or else your child's gonna die from malnutrition. Putting your child on a vegan diet is like putting your dog on a vegan diet. It can be done, but you gotta take it into serious consideration before you do it. For the first year of their life, they should be drinking breast milk. When their teeth begin to grow in, slowly start introducing them to vegan foods, like tofu. It's a good source of protein. Starches are a good source of iron. Starches are a pretty good source of iron. You could turn starch into seitan. I don't recommend using a coffee filter to filter out the wheat gluten, because they can tear pretty easily when they're wet. So I advise against using it. If you're gonna make seitan, you may want to get a cheesecloth for that. You may want to get a cheesecloth. You may want to get a cheesecloth if you want to make seitan, because coffee filters don't work quite as very well as a cheesecloth. A cheesecloth would work a lot better. You may want to get a cheesecloth if you're thinking about making seitan. If you're thinking about making seitan, you may want to get a cheesecloth. That is because a cheesecloth works a lot better at filtering out the gluten from the rest of the flour, which is mostly starch. Flour is mostly starch, but it does have some gluten in it, usually. Get a cheesecloth, because that works a lot better. It works better if you have a cheesecloth. I wonder how tofu is. I'm curious to. I wonder how tofu is made, because it requires soy milk for that. For me, I might think about getting soybeans so I could make soy milk. With that soy milk, I'd ferment it to make tofu. That tofu would be used for a lot of dishes. And if you want super firm tofu, let all the water evaporate first, if you're going to go for super firm tofu. There's this episode of Futurama in which they decided to feed a lion nothing but tofu. The result, the lion became malnourished and emaciated. This is why you should never feed your cat a vegan diet. Because there are vegan people out there who think it's a good idea to put their cats on a vegan diet. No. It's never a good idea to put your cat on a vegan diet, ever. Because you would never see a lion grazing. The only time your cat would ever graze is if they have to induce vomiting. Because cats are obligate carnivores. They are not herbivores, nor are they omnivores. Dogs are an example of an omnivore. Cats are carnivores. True carnivores. Cats are true carnivores. You may want to think twice before putting your cat on a vegan diet. Even though the meat that cats have to eat has cholesterol in it, they evolved to develop a resistance to that cholesterol buildup, to where they cannot build up as much cholesterol. One form of high meat that Gatis Lagsteins, which is the real name of the YouTuber under the name Sverige, with the 3 on the first E. One of those is a wheel heart. One of those is wheel heart. It's wheel heart. Wheel heart. That anti-vegan bigot that he is, believes that cholesterol saves your life. That plants don't have vitamins. Plants do in fact have vitamins. Your body can break down beta-carotene. Your body can produce vitamin D3. I tend to be out in the sun for almost an hour a day, going on my walks. And even though cats are obligate carnivores, they're not just predators, they are also prey animals too. Like, they get preyed upon by wolves. I wonder how the wolf population is kept in check. Wonder if it's through competition? It is possible that competition plays a role in controlling the population of the wolves. One of the factors that affects domestication is the ability to tame the animal. Trying to tame a tiger is pretty hard. That is because they are obligate carnivores. Taming an animal that isn't obligate carnivore is a pain in the butt. That is because all of them have the natural ability to hunt, which is one of the behaviors found in obligate carnivores. For us humans, we only started eating meat about 2.5 million years ago. The reason we started eating meat was due to climate change. Ironically enough. The irony is that climate change can cause us to go full-on carnivorous mode. Trying to breeding cats to not have the urge to hunt is a horrible idea in the long run. Because what if they become feral? They're gonna die. What if they become feral cats? They're gonna die, sadly. From malnutrition. The real problem is wild mice and rats stealing our food. Because even in hygienic areas, there's still a chance of a rodent infestation. That is because they have to eat. We share a common food source with mice and rats. If we killed every feral cat there was, the mice would start eating the eggs of the birds, thus hastening the course of extinction for the bird species that were initially going to be put to extinction by cats. It doesn't matter if we get rid of every feral cat or not; those bird species will go extinct anyway. It doesn't matter. Sadly, it doesn't matter. Because if the cats don't put the bird species to extinction, the mice will, along with rats. The extinction of the bird species is... It doesn't matter if the cats or the... it doesn't matter if we have feral cats or not, they're still gonna go extinct anyway. It doesn't matter. Because mice are known to eat the eggs of those bird species that get hunted down by cats. If it wasn't for our feral cats, we'd see a massive ecosystem collapse. If it wasn't for cats, the whole ecosystem would collapse. If it weren't for cats, we would see an ecosystem collapse. Not only that, we would see disease outbreaks occur along with famine. Famines would happen too. cats are literally keeping us alive. But animal rights groups like PETA are trying to stop the feral cats. But there's a problem. PETA's literally causing the ecosystem collapse by getting rid of every feral cat there is. In my animal rights critique, we need feral cats. We need them. We need them. Whether we want to or not, we need them. Cats are the ones that are saving the world from collapse. Because if we, one thing that's gonna happen if we got rid of every feral cat is it's gonna end up causing a mass extinction, which is already underway, caused by mice. Because mice and cats, they multiply quickly, but the rate in which they multiply is nothing compared to mice. Mice multiply even faster. Because within about 3 years, two mice within a mischief would become 500 million mice. Same thing with rats. We gotta keep the population of those rodents in check. Next time your cat Moggy brings you a present, you should be thankful. You should thank him for saving the world, because their hunting ability is what keeps us humans alive, along with other animals, like other animal species. You should be very thankful that your cat Moggy sometimes brings home gory gifts. You shouldn't go against your cat for doing that, because your cats do it for a very simple reason. They are trying to keep the population of mice and rats in check. Because you may think cats multiply pretty quickly. They do, but the rate in which they multiply is nothing compared to the mice and rats you see in the sewers. Anyways, this is it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Dislike if you disliked it. Subscribe for more. Share this with your comrades on social media. As always, thank you for watching, stay tuned for more, and peace out.